Hey everybody, this is Stephen Holland.
And this is Tyler Kent
with Property Champions Real Estate, and we're here along with you all to show our support for the Dothan Wolves and wish them great success on a winning season.
Just as they pursue a championship, we're here to provide championship results with all of your real estate goals.
So you can call or text me, Stephen Holland, at 334-797-0134.
Or me, Tyler Kent, at 205-413-2304.
Go Wolves!
Hello, everyone. Welcome into the Jed Kennedy Coaches Show, brought to you by Property Champions. I am Philip Jordan, the in-studio host and producer for Dothan Wolves football, right here on 96.9, The Legend. Each week, Jerry Coleman and Ken Lambert sit down with Dothan Wolves head coach Jed Kennedy to discuss the Wolves' previous opponent and preview their upcoming game. On tonight's show, Coach Kennedy will look back at the Dothan Wolves' 42-28 playoff victory over the Foley Lions and look ahead to the second-round matchup tomorrow night with the Auburn High Tigers, which is a rematch from earlier in the season. We're going to take a quick break. When we return, Jerry Coleman and Ken Lambert will be joined by Dothan Wolves head coach Jed Kennedy right here on 96.9, The Legend.
Hey everybody, this is Stephen Holland with Property Champions Real Estate, and just as every Dothan Wolves player and coach are here to pursue and achieve their championship goals, I'm here to provide and deliver championship results for you with all of your real estate needs. So whether you're buying or selling any type of property anywhere at all, I'm always just a call or text away. So feel free to reach out to me at 334-797-0134. 797-0134. Go Wolves.
Welcome in, everyone, to the Thursday night Jed Kennedy Coaches Show presented by Property Champions. And Coach, first of all, congratulations on what I'm going to say, a lot of firsts for the Wolves Friday night, going down to Foley in an atmosphere that's full of traditions. You've got a stadium named after an important administrator in Paston Foley. You've got a field named after the winningest football coach, allowed also with his defensive coordinator that Ken and I got to talk to briefly Friday night there at the game. And the environment and the tradition of what I'm going to call, the Foley Lions, going in there and playing on a field that, not too long ago, Julio Jones played on, DJ Fluker played on, Robert Lester played on, and some, 50 years ago, same field, Kenny Stabler played on. And kind of an environment that we were on, of course, on the home side, and you watched an environment of nothing was focused except for the 22 players on the field all night long. From our vantage point, you may see something different, but just kind of give us your comments about Friday night's victory.
Well, I think, number one, obviously just ecstatic for our kids. And, I think that, when you talk about 25 years since, one of the Dothan high schools had won a playoff game, that's a long time. And when you think about the great players that have come through here, it just shows you how hard it is to win a playoff game. And our kids, I think, I know I've said this a few times before on here, but, our motto all year has been believing is seeing. And we've got to believe in something that maybe you can't see. And, this program won one region game last year. And that came on a last-second throw to move to 5 region wins and 7 regular season wins, and just put themselves in position to be a playoff team. And then you draw the number 1 seed that outside on the perimeter, they were as talented as anybody we played all year. They had a Alabama commit at one receiver, the other receiver. Their coach told me had 15 offers, and everybody's in to see them. They present challenges. The quarterback was sneaky good, and for us to take a 3.5-hour trip and go down there and really play good football, mistake-free football. I just was, I had tears in my eyes after the game just because I was so happy for the kids to, just to be able to, there's nothing like playoff football, and to be able to experience that, now to be one of 8 teams left in the state. And everyone knows how tough 7A is in the state of Alabama. For Dothan to be mentioned in there, it's awesome for the community. It's awesome for our school. And again, just really awesome for the players.
Well, and you go back to, we're looking at some stats, and I know last week in the latter part of the coaches show, we talked about points allowed, points given up. I believe Ken made comments on that. And offensively went in and basically took what their average points allowed defensively and split it by 2 scores. So you were up there. Same thing on defense. Defense held their offense to 2 scores less than what their average is. And talking about their quarterback, he just set the record. Now he's their number 2 passing quarterback at Foley. So after Friday night, so definitely went in and played. And Coach, talking about the first, I believe that's the first time, not only a first win in a long time in playoffs, but I don't know how far you go in the history books to find a first playoff victory against a 1-seeded team. So a lot to say for it. And like you said, it's a 3-hour trip, and then we got more work to do for tomorrow night for the Auburn Tigers game. But talk a little bit about big plays that happened that really turned the game around. I'm going to say mainly probably in the second half.
Yeah, well, I think to start with, I think Raymond Blackman is unbelievable. I think someone told me he's now leading 7A in rushing. He's got just under 1,500 yards rushing, 23 touchdowns, averaging over 9 yards a carry. He had 19 carries for 257 Friday night. Man, is he special. And the thing I love about him, he's so unselfish. He never asks for the ball. There's plays we take him out. There's plays we put him in the secondary, and he just was phenomenal. I think that really, getting the stop before half was awesome and huge, because then it allowed us to come out in the second half and make it a 2-score game. And we knew their offense was potent, and they came down and scored. We had a 3-and-out. They scored again. Next thing you know, it's a tie ball game. And then you came right back after that happened. Raymond ripped off another long run, and then a Sim White, a sophomore safety for us with the scoop and score to kind of seal it and make it a 2-score game. He is he's going to be a Division I football player. He only started playing football last year as a freshman, and one of those kids that just seems to get better every time we go out on the field. And he's a real quiet kid. I don't know if he said 10 words all season. So just was exciting for him to, I think, kind of have that kind of aha moment in a big game like that. But there's really, just everybody played well. We played good on the D-line. Our linebackers played well. The running back gave us some fits, kind of surprised me a little bit, but he's a 240-pound kid. But again, it just was a total team effort. There's times the O kind of seemed to be pulling the rope, and then there's times the D was pulling the rope. And when you do that, I think you got a chance to win a lot of football games.
We could tell, we watched the Nero kid kind of warm up and watched him run the ball, where it took a few folks to bring him down. But I think defensively, too, Coach, started putting pressure on times to where he was uncomfortable. He still made some good throws, but really, first half he kind of stayed in the pocket, get the ball off, throw where he wanted to. But he got some pressure put on him by that D-line in the second half that I think really changed a lot of momentum of the football game.
Yeah, it did. And what's crazy, when you watch film, people didn't get home a lot on them. They were a really good pass offense, obviously, and they had a lot of timing, and the kid hadn't been sacked a whole lot. And that was a concern of ours coming in. We pride ourselves in getting pressure on the quarterback. And I thought the same thing in the second half. We did a good job of getting him moving outside the pocket, getting 3 or 4 sacks, got the strip sack at the end. And I think that, it's like anything, it's, if you can get somebody moving outside their comfort zone a little bit, certainly tougher to play the position.
Talk to us a little bit about that recovery strip that you said Asim made. It was on your sidelines. It was far from us, so it's hard for us to make the call who did it because it happened so fast.
Yeah, so it was it was crazy. It was 2 sophomores. And I think anytime you have a coverage sack, which is what it was, means you have pretty good coverage on the back end. And we flushed him out of the pocket. Ezekiel Scott's one of our best athletes. He's just been unbelievable the last 7 or 8 games. And like I said, only a sophomore, and he's going to be a big time player here. He's 6'2", 220 pounds, and can really run. And we got him out of the pocket. The quarterback, I should say, the kids did, and Ezekiel came up from behind and had a great strip sack. At that point, it was still a 1-possession game. And a Sim ball bounced right to him and made a great scoop and score. And obviously, as fast as a Sim is, there was nobody going to catch him.
Ken, questions about the Foley game?
Well, I'm glad you clarified that, Coach, because like Jerry said, we weren't sure who was in that play. We thought Kendrell Brewer was there. I think he may have been on the pressure, but I found a video, and even after looking at the video probably 10 times, I think I still got the guys wrong. I thought maybe that was TK Knight that ran it back. So I'm glad you clarified that. Apologize.
And you know how those jerseys are so dang tight. And then
Yes,
the numbers are kind of that weird font. They blend together. 28 looks like 38 and 31 looks like 21. So
that's right. But I apologize to those guys. But and I think I ended my comments when I tried to clarify was just team. It was a team effort. That was absolutely part of it. We talked about their offense being potent. They kind of set the tone coming out. With their first offensive play, they just go for the money on the big ball. But obviously, we talked about how well that secondary played. I mean, when you go, I guess at some point you had to go to your sophomore defensive back and say, hey, you're going to be out there on an island against one of the best receivers for a lot of the plays. And I tell you what, he and all those guys, I think, were up to the task, and they played outstanding, I thought.
Yeah, they did. And it's secondary is a hard position to play, as we know, obviously, with the number of people that throw the football and the athletes that are in our region and now in the playoffs. I mean, more times than not, you're going to be lined up with somebody who's probably got offers somewhere. And, TK had a great stretch. And if we think back, he had a really rough game against Central. And, the kid that he had it happen against was one of the best players in the state. And, we knew what he was capable of. And I just think it shows how mature he is. And I think how talented he is. I mean, he kind of had that one little funk. And then after that, he's been right back up. And, man, he's going to he's going to have a real special career here. You can't teach a lot of things that he has. He's probably, top 2 or 3 fastest players on our team. He's only going to get bigger. He's only going to get stronger. And I think we forget, he's still a sophomore and gets picked up at practice from his dad. So still pretty young.
That's awesome. I think the physical play was a big part also on Friday night. We talked about Nero, and he's a big guy, and it takes a couple of guys to bring him down. But I'm not sure that he was prepared for how he was going to – the physical play he was going to get. I know sometimes he carried the ball a little bit loose, and we were trying to get it away from him. Same thing there right before the half when they throw deep to try to score. And I think we had 3 defensive backs converge on that receiver, and he got up a little bit slow. So I think the physical play was something maybe they may have underestimated a little bit as well.
Yeah, and I think, if you remember back when we took this program over, we said one of the things we want to be known for is being physical. And win or lose, when things get done, we want them to say, man, Dothan football is really, really physical. And I think that we're starting to establish that. We're not as physical as we're going to be and as we want to be, but we're getting there. And I think that, we knew going in that with the number of kids they had playing both ways, that if we could be physical and that our offense could be probably our best thing for our defense, because the same kids that were playing defense were then expected to go over and play offense.
Yeah.
I think that, we were able to wear them out a little bit. And, I think we have one kid who takes snaps on both sides of the ball, and that's Raymond Blackman. And that's just a few plays at secondary. So we're true 2 platoon, which most 7A teams are. And, Foley tried to get away with, playing 6 or 7 guys both ways. But I tell you, Coach Scott, man, he had those kids playing hard, and they were right in it. They never quit. And you could tell after a game when people, rally around their coach and love playing for him. And that's what I got the sense was with Coach Scott. They were obviously hurt. That was the first time they'd made the playoffs in a long time. And, certainly had a special group of players. So I just, certainly tip my hat off to Coach, for the season that they had. And, just proud of our kids to be able to go down there and get a great road win. And our motto's been just get one more. Let's just play hard and get one more. And we did that. And our goal this week is to play the best we can, hopefully give us our opportunity to play one more after this week.
Absolutely. Well, Coach, I won't ask you to give anything away here, but the 2 runs with Keneal Jones, I'm still not sure how that unfolds and how that happens. And maybe let's keep it that way, and maybe we'll have a chance to use it again. But those were big plays, I thought, twice in the game.
Well, if you spin people if you spin people enough ways and run them other ways and snap the ball, sometimes you don't know who's getting it. So,
yeah, we waited for somebody to break out and call a number. That's the best we could do.
Yeah, their broadcasting team called us on the way home, Coach, and said, we don't know how you do this, you and Ken, 10 games, 11 games now with it. And I said, well, sometimes, luckily for us, we're on the radio, and people can't see at home. So sometimes we have to wait till the play ends to see who's got the ball handed to. But But you mentioned about Coach Scott. I tell you what, he does have a special program. I mean, I think the community has bought into him. I don't know, with the team or the band or the coaches, but it's Kenny and I do a wrap-up show with Philip in the end. And, of course, we're kind of a few minutes late leaving, and it seemed like, Coach, everybody come by and said, hey, good luck next week. Good luck next week from their coaches to their players to their fans, because they knew, like I said in the beginning of the broadcast, everybody there was no distractions in the stadium at all except watching 22 kids play football.
Yeah, it was just I was just telling him it was a clean game. There wasn't a lot of penalties thrown. There was no personal fouls. There was no. It just was a good high school football game, and again, obviously, it feels a little better when you're on the winning side of that.
We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk to Coach Kennedy about tomorrow night's game against the Tigers of Auburn. You're listening to the Jed Kennedy Coaches Show, presented by Property Champions.
Hey everyone, this is Tyler Kent with Property Champions Real Estate. What are the Dothan Wolves striving for this year? A winning season with championship results. If you're looking to buy or sell any type of real estate, anywhere at all, and you want someone on your team who will not stop until you've achieved your championship results, give me a call or send me a text anytime at all. Again, this is Tyler Kent with Property Champions Real Estate at 205-413-2304. That's 205-413-2304. Go Wolves!
Welcome back to the Jed Kennedy Coaches Show, presented by Property Champions. And Coach, tomorrow night you travel to Auburn. They beat Fairhope last week 35-17. I think it was a kind of a homecoming for the Fairhope coach, who I believe not long ago was the head coach at Auburn. But with that aside, you're going into an environment that, right off the bat, I think game 2 of this year's season had to go to Auburn, or maybe game 3. What has changed, you think, in the last 2 months of this team going into tomorrow night's round 2?
Well, I think number one, we got some kids in some different positions. If you think back, Anthony Castillo wasn't playing. He's now our starting tight end. Keneal Jones was at tight end. He's now our starting blocking back. Marcus McClure is now our starting center. So there's three players who weren't even starting in positions now that are. And I think, the second thing I think is, if you remember, Raymond Blackman got hurt against Lee. And I think if you remember, I think we heard a sigh in the whole crowd. So he didn't play. Wasn't nearly at 100%. I think only had 8 or 9 carries up there. And he's kind of been the catalyst for us lately. So we're different. I would, we've always said we hope that we're playing our best football at the end of the year. I think we're playing really good football right now. With that being said, Auburn's really, really good. And, it's one of those programs that, we were talking about it. We beat them 2 years ago when we were all over at Enterprise. Had a great win. They were ranked number 1 in the state, I think, at that time. Had a chance to beat them. Well, we've gotten our teeth kicked in 3 times in a row since. The following year, we went up there twice. We played them in the regular season, played them in a playoff game. They got after us. And then we went up there this year and they got after us. They're one of those teams. They just don't have a lot of weaknesses. They've got depth. I talked to their coach. They have 160 players, 10 through 12. They suit up 135 on Friday nights. So I think the depth, when they run punt and kickoff, it's 11 new guys. So their special teams are really, really good. But, we're a good football team, and I think that, kind of our model going into the playoffs was, why not us? Why not Dothan? And anything can happen. It's not a best of 7 series. We got to play them one time. And, hopefully that, we can, when you play a team as good as Auburn, our philosophy here is you shorten the game up. And what I mean by that is you don't try to win the game, try to win the first quarter first. And when you get done with the first quarter, you say, okay, let's win the second quarter. And you keep shortening the game. If you look at it that way, that's what we did when we played Central. If you look at it, if you give up big plays and you're out of the game in the first quarter, man, they're so hard to come back on. And Auburn's the same type of thing. So, that's going to be our thing. Can we try to win the first quarter, and then we'll worry about the second quarter. So we've certainly had a good week of practice. Our kids are ready. Like I told somebody, we almost don't even know any better, right? We just go up there and give it our best shot and kind of throw the kitchen sink at them and see what happens.
Well, I think, looking back on statistics of that game 2 months ago, turnovers was a key factor. I think that turned over a lot of points, and that kind of made it one-sided. in some part of the game, but really over the last couple of games, the team has really protected the football.
Yeah, it is. I think when you play a game like this against, and I'll just say it, we're an underdog. When you're an underdog going into what's a tough place to play, which that stadium is, against a really good football team, to me, it comes down to two things. We cannot turn the ball over, and we cannot give up the big play. And if you think about, when we played them last time, it was, you get a couple first downs, or we get 2 first downs and turn the ball over, and they'd score 4 plays later. And it's just, when that happens, it just gets out of it. It just gets out of hand too fast. So you gotta be able to control the clock. You got to be able to get first downs, obviously score some points. But on the other side of the ball, you can't give up the big one. You got to make them work for it. Because when they work for it, they're also taking time off the clock. I talk about when we played up there 3 years ago, it was 17-3. With a couple of minutes to go in the first half, we were right in it. Well, they only had the ball 3 times. We didn't really stop them, but we were able to control the clock and some of those things. So we'll kind of hopefully take that same recipe and see if we can't pull the upset.
Yeah, and I think staying in front of the in front of the change is going to be good, which I thought the team did a great job last Friday night on. Especially we talked earlier in the first section about penalties and things like that. You never saw a lot of downs and distance that you were behind the chains.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of been the key. If you look at drives, we've had success in drives we had, and we've been, we're averaging, I think, 340 yards rushing a game or something like that, and averaging about 400 yards a game. That's a lot of offense. And if you think about, drives we've struggled with, we get behind the chain. Our offense isn't built for 1st and 20. It's not built for 2nd and 18. It is what it is. And it just, with what we have right now and the players and the positions that we have, if you think about our pass game is best when we're hitting play action passes on run type downs. When we got to sit back and people know we're passing and they're sending the house, and we're, that's just not right now. That's not our strength. So certainly got to stay ahead of the chains. And, for us, it's a 4-down offense. If we can get under 4th and 2, and if you think back, that's what really hurt us up there the first time, in addition to turnovers, was we had 3 times where we had 4th and under 2 and never converted one of them. If you convert that 4th down and you get 3 more cracks at it, you can also take another 3.5 minutes off the clock and hopefully continue getting first downs. But we didn't. But again, I don't think we're the same team we were back week 3. It's crazy how long ago it seems like it was. I don't even hardly remember it until you put the film on. But I think we're in a much better position, I think, to hopefully give them a little bit better fight than we did week 3.
Well, Ken and I remember, because it was that first game. It seemed like we were on the road for a month, and
I think we were on the road for a month.
But definitely out of that road trip, though, which comes back to, I think you mentioned it last week, how good this team is on the road. I mean, your 3rd game, you're on the road 3, 4, 5, and 6 game, and you come out 2 and 3 out of it against some top ranked teams in the state. So I agree, teams getting better week by week, and I think the team's a road reckoning team that you can't count the Wolves out when they're on the road. So
yeah, and I think it's one of those things we've got a pretty structured with what our plan is. The kids like it with how we eat and when we eat and get up there. And we really didn't change much last week for Foley. We just left an hour earlier. But I just hope that that we can get a good following from Dothan up there, really to support these kids. And I think that when you look at some of the good teams around the state, and even in the Wiregrass that lost round 1, I mean, it's hard to win playoff games. And it's when you get to round 2, you're looking at 2 good football teams on both sides of the ball, and just hope that we can get a good following from Dothan up there to support these kids.
Ken?
Yeah, Jerry had asked the question, what had changed since week 3? I had that one jotted down. One thing I had kind of circled was, I think, the confidence level. I mean, when you go back and I think you've always had the confidence that we can win any game, but now you have the experience of, you've gone toe to toe. I think of the Prattville game. I think of that Smith Station game. So you have the experiences of taking a punch and knowing that, hey, we can come back and get this. So I think the confidence level of these young men are got to be at an all-time high, Coach.
Oh, 100%. And I think what's crazy is I think, as we say, experience is the greatest teacher. And I mean, you take a game like Prattville, we probably got beaten that game 47 out of the 48 minutes, right? But at the end of the game, we found a way to win a game we shouldn't have won. And then, we go and beat a Baker team, that gave Enterprise everything they could handle last week and played really, really good football. Okay. And then you kind of start getting some momentum. Well, then we go and play, one of the blue bloods of, the state with Central and, have a 7-point loss. And then I think that's when it starts, and then we come out and play Enterprise and don't play very good. That kind of got us back on track with practicing the way that we need to practice. And then I think really against Opelika, I think we're kind of on 3 weeks in a row here where things have been clicking on both sides of the ball and able to move the football and able to get stops and playing with a lot of confidence. And, confidence goes a long ways with 16 and 17-year-old kids. And I think that I certainly know that it's not an arrogance. I mean, we don't think we're certainly better than other people. I just think that it's a confidence in believing in what we do and believing in the coaches and believing in the system and believing in quote unquote our way. And it's just like I said. I know I've said it a bunch, but man, I'm just so excited for these kids. I talked to them after the game that I remember that first time I met them. And I told them that, we're gonna do things the right way. We're gonna work really, really hard. I know it's gonna be difficult. It's gonna be demanding, but if we do those things, there's no reason we can't be a playoff team. And deep down, I don't even know how many kids thought that. There was, it had been a tough go here for a couple of years, and just having a chance to see kids be excited and believe, and there's nothing like having the hard work you put in get rewarded, and there's nothing like getting rewarded with the win. And I'm just proud of these kids. They're making lifelong memories. They'll talk about this season for the rest of their lives. And like I told the kids all week in practice, why not Dothan? Why not us again? Why can't we do it against Auburn? And if we come out and play well, there's no reason I don't think we can't give ourselves a chance.
And I like that tagline, why not us? I mean, we get to this time of the year and everybody talks about Auburn and Central, Hoover and Thompson, and that's well deserved. But for that to change, it's got to change this week with the Dothans and the Enterprises of the world. So I like that line, why not us? Why can't it be us to make that change? Absolutely. Jerry?
Well, Coach, as always, we appreciate the time you take away from your busy schedule getting ready for tomorrow night's game. And if you hadn't bought your ticket, you're listening to us tonight, you might want to go on to myfan.co, get your ticket. Not sure what they're selling tickets, but it will probably be a sellout crowd because of the big momentum that's going on for both teams and kind of what to look forward to. But, Coach, as always, good luck tomorrow. We'll see you up in Auburn, and go Wolves.
Yes, sir. We appreciate the coverage. You guys take the trip with us and consider you right part of our program. And I know we can't thank you enough. And again, hopefully we can get a lot of folks from Dothan up to support the kids and certainly be proud of the product that they become on the field. And I can promise you that they're going to play really, really hard and make the town proud tomorrow night.
All right. Thank you always, Coach.
Yes, sir.
Hey everybody, this is Stephen Holland
And this is Tyler Kent.
with Property Champions Real Estate, and we're here along with you all to show our support for the Dothan Wolves and wish them great success on a winning season.
Just as they pursue a championship, we're here to provide championship results with all of your real estate goals.
So you can call or text me, Stephen Holland, at 334-797-0134.
Or me, Tyler Kent, at 205-413-2304.
Go Wolves!